more scary than like the Joker one that I just watched. But like there's something inherently very frightening about beings that don't understand how they're hurting you. You know what I mean? Like I've like said it in like one of my shorts before, like when I was reacting to another um video. It's like childlike figures, like monsters, like animal, like there's like something just like, at least for me, that like makes me respond viscerally to like a figure that is hurting you and doesn't understand why it's hurting you, or like why it hurts or anything. It's just reacting to stimuli in a way. And that's like so just like ugh. Also, robots philosophizing on what it means to be like human and like what the human condition is, that is a trope that is like quite old, but is one of those tropes I just don't get tired of. I don't get tired of like, because human to be human is to have nuance and, you know, this sort of gray about it, but have that, especially if done well, reflected back from this like what is supposed to be like this soulless cold machine, is honestly one of those tropes that like I genuinely really enjoy. You know what I mean? And I haven't gotten tired of it yet.
The desire. Does you press on?
Well, but like that's the point, you know what I mean? Like, because everything can end in like that, that is what makes life special. Like life has no inherent meaning to it. Life is inherently like just this existence that is like just, life is just this thing that is thrust upon you that everyone just has to accept and like come to terms with. And most people spend their entire existence trying to find meaning or value in their existence when there isn't. Like life only has value in which that you give to. You know what I mean? Like the only thing that has any meaning in life is that which you, like there's this quote, I think it's by like Albert Camus, which is like, I'm gonna butcher it, but whatever is whatever is keeping you from killing yourself, that's the meaning of life. Whatever is stopping you from ending it all, that's the most important thing in the world. You know what I mean? And sometimes, and this might be silly, don't get me wrong, but at one point in my life, the only things that were keeping me alive were Spider-Verse 2 and God of War 2. This was a couple years ago, but like I was in such like a shitty, not okay point in my life, and those were like the like God of War, uh, of the like the new expansion, and like Spider Verse and stuff like that were the only things that like brought me any sort of joy, because I really enjoyed the medium, like the medium and like the story of both of those. And the point of that is that like that's okay. It's okay to find meaning in like those little like mundane shitty things that don't necessarily matter to other people, but they matter to you, and it is inherently good. Like because you find value in them, they are good.
Drive forward to gain possessions. Search to find a partner. Hope.
Isn't that a reference to something? I feel like I've heard that in something else. Isn't that like a line from the Batman movie? Like Joker is saying that or something? Am I crazy? I mean, the premise, I mean, I get it, it's a horror movie, but the premise that a robot who was programmed to love would go insane, and instead of like trying to change itself to be loved, but try to change human beings to be like, I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with that as a premise, but I do think it's interesting. I do like that. Like I think I like that. Uh cuz like I don't know, like I'm like, again, this isn't super scary. Like conceptually, it's about as scary as like a zombie movie for me. But like I do like it. I think I do like the idea that like this robot who just wants nothing more than to be loved by others goes insane in search of that of love. You know what I mean? Like it that's kind of scary and kind of relatable in a weird way. So I think it is like interesting to like where ironically enough that like a relatable character is a robot. That's also another trope that I always still enjoy. Like the monster you can relate to kind of thing.
You look at me with the same eyes as all the others.
I think it would be cool to have a like like the sort of the same sort of vibe of like a robot that is a serial killer and philosophizes Chick-fil-A like has this sort of like internal conundrum with its programming and it doesn't see like what it's doing as like harmful. Like it's still a serial killer, but like it like something is haywire with its programming and it views what it's doing as good in some way, where it's just kind of like I am I don't know, like I'm kind of yapping a little bit, but I think it could be a super cool story to have like a robot serial killer. I think is what I'm ultimately getting to. You know, like because I do like this. I guess his name is Abe because you know it's the name of the movie. But I do think it would be super cool to be like, you know, I kill human beings because like it won't love me back, kind of thing, and but like expand it. Yeah, and I think that's why I don't necessarily agree with the premise is that like it underutilizes like the fact that it is a robot like doing all of this because like realistically you could have replaced the fact that it is a robot with like an actual just like regular man, you know what I mean? Like oh, it's just a man who is like a creepy stalker who wants to be loved by women or whatever, blah blah blah, and not a whole lot would change. In fact, I think it would even be kind of scarier because there's a tinge of realism to it. And so I think yeah, I think they just kind of underutilize the fact that they have like this fictional thing uh and I they did well as far as like philosophizing about like what it means to be human and love, but not enough. Like it felt, I guess I might be expecting or like desiring too much from a short film, but yeah, I think it could have been better. Honestly, I think is ultimately what I'm trying to say. They didn't do terribly, but it could have been better.